After 3 decades of working with the founders of service businesses, I've noticed a pattern. The ones that are really successful are the ones that figured out a skill that most of them don't have, which is they figure out what not to do and then they don't do it. By the end of this video, you're going to know 5 specific things that you need to stop doing this year, and the sooner the better. I'm about to check a whole bunch of things off your to-do list. More is killing your business. Not lack of effort, not lack of talent, not lack of opportunity, more. More services you try to offer so you never miss a potential client that might be willing to write a check. More marketing channels to try because you never know which one is going to work. More hours so nothing falls through the cracks. More yeses so that you never miss an opportunity that might be the one that changes everything. This is what ambitious founders do. It feels productive, it feels responsible, it feels like hustle. But where has it gotten you? You're exhausted, you're scattered, you're spread so thin that nothing gets your full attention. Seems like the harder you work, the flatter your revenue stays. Your calendar's so crazy, it looks like someone spilled a bag of Skittles on it. Your mind is so cluttered that you literally can't think strategically. You're keeping yourself so busy day to day that you never make time to actually move forward the thing that you were trying to build. The math doesn't work. You can't be excellent at 12 different things. You can't chase every opportunity and say that you have a strategy. Strategy means choosing, and choosing means some things don't get chosen. If you chase 2 rabbits, you're not going to catch either of them. Every time you say yes to something that's not core to your mission, you're taking away from something that is. But you don't see it that way because the cost is invisible until you look back and wonder where the year went. The word decide comes from Latin. It doesn't mean to choose, it means to cut off. Making a decision doesn't mean choosing what to pursue. It means cutting everything else off. It's eliminating your options. It's closing doors permanently so you can go through one without thinking about the others. And after working with business owners for 30 years, I can tell you most of them never really decide. They add a new service, but keep the old ones running just in case. They pursue a new market, but they keep all the other ones going because what if? They hire someone to take over sales from them, but then they sit in on every call because they don't quite trust them. They talk to their team at the annual meeting about the strategic focus for next year, but then their calendar tells a completely different story. That's not deciding, that's just collecting. That's hedging your bets, that's keeping your options open. When you keep your options open, you don't have a strategy, you have a pile. A pile doesn't have direction. It just sits there getting heavier every time you add something new to it. Every maybe later or let's keep that going from now just adds more weight to the pile. When everything's a priority, nothing is a priority. When you try to serve everyone, you're serving no one. And when you keep every door open just in case, you stand there in the hallway worried and exhausted and not going anywhere. Real strategy isn't a to-do list, it's a to-don't list. It's the discipline to cut off options, even good ones, so that the ones that remain can actually thrive. And before you hear me talking about doing less and think I'm pitching you some 4-hour work week fantasy, let me explain what I'm talking about. Strategic focus is the hardest discipline in business. Working hard is easy. It's not scary. It's just an endurance test. You put in the effort, you put in the hours, you come home at the end of the day and collapse, and you don't really have to make any scary decisions. You just do what's right in front of you over and over and over again forever. By comparison, strategic focus is terrifying. You have to look at a client who might be willing to write you a check and say no. You have to look at a new service that you get to add that might bring new customers and say no. And you're not saying no because those things are bad. You're saying it because those are not the thing you're focused on. That stuff's scary as hell, and that's why most business owners don't do it. They opt for the hard work option instead of the make decisions option. So when I say do less, I'm not talking about lifestyle stuff. I'm not talking about passive income, sitting on a beach with your laptop, making $1 bajillion. I'm talking about discipline, the discipline to say no to good opportunities that aren't the right fit, the discipline to disappoint people in the short term so that you can build what you're trying to build in the long term. Your job as an owner, a CEO, a founder, a leader, is not to chase every opportunity that might turn into something. It's to hold the line. It's to tell your team, stop working on that because we have more important things to do. It's to turn down tempting revenue that would take your business off course. It's to watch a competitor go chase something shiny and feel confident standing right where you are. Holding the line is supremely uncomfortable. People are going to come to you with things and you're going to have to tell them no. Anyone can say no to a bad idea. The skill that separates mediocre business owners from legendary founders is the ability to say no to good ideas. That's the muscle most owners never develop because the whole world is telling them to do more. Their clients want them to do more. Their employees want them to do more. The market wants them to do more. Their own brain wants them to do more. But more never works. Strategy, deciding, doing less, That's what works. So why is everyone so afraid of this? It's the fear of missing out. What if that client you turned down could have turned into $1 million project? What if that market you chose not to pursue turns out to be where all the growth is? What if you narrow your target market and you pick wrong? What if you say no to the thing that would have changed everything? This fear isn't irrational. You've seen this stuff happen in real life. You've seen random opportunities turn into big wins. You've seen businesses chase something and have it work out for them, so you wonder if you should chase it too. You've tried random things and had them pay off in ways you hadn't expected. The uncertainty is real. The stakes are real. That's what makes it scary. So you stay flexible and you don't commit too hard in any one direction. You don't put all your eggs in one basket, because what if something better comes along tomorrow? It feels like wisdom. It feels like you're being adaptive. It feels like you're making intelligent choices, but it's really a trap. And one of the scariest parts of it is that making an actual decision could mean that where you are today is the wrong place. Some of your employees might not be a good fit. Some of your processes, your website, all that stuff that you've built up over your lack of decision making, once you make some decisions, you're going to feel like some of that isn't the right stuff anymore, and that's just easier not to deal with. So you kick the can down the road. You sacrifice what you're really trying to build in the long term so you don't have to deal with these issues in the short term. Let's say you have 15 employees and you know you should narrow your focus and streamline your target market, but that would mean letting 4 of them go, so you don't do it. Those 4 people get to keep their jobs, while the other 11 are stuck at a company that's not making progress because you won't make the call. And the 25 people you would hire when the company really starts growing like it should, they never get the opportunity. You compromise your long term so you don't have to deal with your short term. It's not your responsibility to sacrifice your company to spare those people the inconvenience of finding a new job. If you're currently employing people who don't fit the future that you're trying to build, be kind to them. Give them advance notice. Help them get referrals for other jobs. Do what you can to make that transition smooth for them, but make a decision and get it done. You're a leader. That's what leaders do. They make the hard decisions. They figure out what needs to be done, and then they make sure everyone knows, here's what we're not going to do. You are going to help so many more people by building a thriving, focused, successful business than you ever will by stalling on firing someone who doesn't fit the future of your company, or by keeping on a client who's a bad fit just because they can pay a bill. 6 months from now, 12 months from now, the owner who made the hard decision, who said, no, we're not going to do this anymore, is in a completely different place than the owner who kept saying yes to everything to avoid the short-term hit. The founders that break through aren't the ones who never miss opportunities. They're the ones who miss opportunities on purpose. So here are the 5 things you're going to stop doing this year. 1, you're going to stop saying yes to the wrong clients. They're killing your margins, they're dragging down your operations, and they are costing your business more in progress than they will ever bring in. The math isn't some revenue versus no revenue. It's wrong revenue versus room for the right revenue. You know you're spinning in circles on the wrong projects, and you're never giving yourself the space to get to the right projects. It's not going to happen on its own. You're just going to keep getting more of what you're already doing. 2, you're going to stop offering new services outside of your core. People are going to ask you for things, and you're going to think, I could probably do that. And you probably could, and you'd probably do a pretty good job of it, but it would distract you and it would pull down your operations, and you won't be able to do it efficiently, and you're not going to make as much money on it as you think you will. Everything you bolt on complicates your operations. Your operations should be smooth and efficient and repeatable, and you can't do that when you're constantly adding in new types of things to work on. You can't be great at 12 different things, and despite your best intentions, you're probably doing a mediocre job of a lot of your work right now. The more focused you get, the more streamlined and repeatable your operations are, the faster your team can operate, the more expert they become at the exact thing that you do, and therefore the more money you're going to make overall. 3, you're going to stop chasing every new marketing tactic you hear about. There's always going to be a new channel, a new platform, a new technique, and someone's always going to be finding success with it, and it's always going to make you wonder, is that the thing you should be doing? Is that the thing that would make the difference? And so you wind up doing scattered marketing in half a dozen different channels, and nothing's actually working. The firms that are really successful pick 1 or 2 marketing channels and go really deep on them. And they don't have to be the same channels that everyone else does. Stop adding new marketing tactics and start mastering a couple that you're already doing. 4, you're going to stop being the only one who can sell or deliver or decide. If everything important has to route through you, you haven't built a company, you've just built a crappy job. And it's a job you feel like you can never get away from because everything depends on you. And guess what? You're the cap on the company's growth. The reason you can't delegate isn't because your team isn't capable. they're probably more capable than you give them credit for. It's because you haven't made the decisions that focus and clarify things to the point that they can operate without you. Right now, they need you to make all the decisions because the only strategy the company has is whatever you say at the moment. They're not coming to you because you're so much more capable. They're coming to you because they're playing a sport where you're making up the rules as you go. And 5, you're going to stop trying to compete by being better than your competitors. Everyone says that they're better, so your clients can't tell the difference. That just sounds like everyone's saying the same thing. If you want to be better at what you do, that's great. You absolutely should do that. Just know it gives you no marketing advantage. You have to stop talking about being better and start talking about being different. And when you finally make some decisions and you're specific enough to be the only real player in your space, you don't have competitors anymore. All that work just comes to you. You get chosen by default. There's no spreadsheet comparison because there's nobody to compare to. And that shifts the whole conversation from why should we choose you to how do we get started. Make a decision, be different, and be specific enough that you're the obvious choice for your ideal client. Doing less doesn't leave you with less. It leaves you with better. Better clients, better employees, better operations, better profits, better work, better lifestyle, a better company. You don't lose when you say no. You create space for the things you need to say yes to. So that's your to-don't list for the year. 5 simple things that are scary as hell. If you need some more resources on how to actually execute on this, check out my website at jamesarcher.co. I'll see you in the next one.